been conquered. The Medo-Persians, they've been conquered. The Greeks, we're now under this last one. There's coming a point at a particular time when Jacob's trouble is going to start. There's going to be someone that's going to stand up for the nation of Israel at that time. And he's going to be with Israel, okay, for 42 months. Scriptures right here in verse 12 and 1 said that it was Michael. Maury, if you could read that for me again, 1 through 7. I'm going to let you finish the whole thing out.
Okay. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was, since there was nation even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book.
Right, so that's the stipulation. Everybody is going to be delivered whose name is written in the book. Okay? So not everybody is going to make it. Everybody's going to have the opportunity, but those that's going to be able to endure to the end. So if the scriptures is asking us to endure to the end, what is it that Israel is going to be going through that they have to continue to the end in order to be saved?
Jacob's trouble.
Jacob's trouble.
Goodness gracious.
You're going to have to go through it. There is no such thing as a secret rapture. Or the Father's going to be, you're just going to go off and vanish someplace, and then, and then once everything is done, you're going to now come back and escape through this. We're not going to do the Christian thing here. We're not going to do it. Read on, Moray.
And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt.
Right.
And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. And they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever.
And that's what we want to do. We want to turn those who are not following Torah, we want to turn them to righteousness so that we might be able to shine as the stars forever and ever.
Hallelujah.
Read on.
But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased.
Which is happening now.
Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood another two, the one on the side of the bank of the river, and the other on the side of the bank of the river. And one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, How long shall it be, the end of these wonders? And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven.
Oh, to Shamayim, hallelujah.
And swear by him, and swear by him that liveth forever, that it should be for a time and a half. And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the set apart people, all these things shall be finished.
Okay. Getting interesting. Let's go back, to Revelations, the 11th chapter. We're going to make sure that we're not making up anything here. We're going to go through it. When we read Jeremiah the 30th chapter, verse 7, it says Jacob's trouble, or does it says Edom's trouble?
Jacob. So
it should be self-explanatory just by that it's called Jacob's trouble, and his face is going to wax pale. He's going to be like a woman in travail. It's because he's going to be going through a lot of tribulation. Again, no secret rapture. Everything that's happening around us today is just a warm-up period for what's about to really happen. This is the reason why Moray said, listen, it's like a woman that's about to go through, about to have or deliver a baby. All these now are just laboring pains. What's about to really happen has never happened before since the beginning of time. Never happened. And just to let us, just to get a clue on how serious this is, when we go to the book of Genesis, it talks about there was I'll do the easy one. Something happened in the very beginning that caused a mass destruction on the planet Earth. The sun, the moon, and the stars were there, but something happened now where it was darkness. Darkness upon the whole face of the earth. And everything now needed to be restarted again. As horrific as that was, what's about to come can't compare. Can't even compare. I think it's Romans 2 and 9. Shalak, if you can read that for me, please.
Okay.
And make sure that's it too. Romans 2 and 9. I just want everybody to make sure that they stay on their P's and Q's, and myself included. Because
I'll let you look at it first and I read.
yes, you can read that.
Okay. Romans chapter 2, verse 9. Tribulation and anguish upon every soul of man that doeth evil, of the Jew first, and also of the Gentile.
Right, so who are these Gentiles here? I mean, everything has to be kept in context.
The scattered.
It would have to be the scattered, because at this point here, we're talking about tribulation and anguish upon every soul of man that doeth evil, of the Yahudims first, and also of the Gentiles. So when we look up that word tribulation, even though it's in a Greek, it doesn't change anything when we look at it in Hebrew. And metaphorically, it means oppression, affliction, tribulation, distress, and straits. Both houses, southern kingdom, northern kingdom, will not be able to escape about what's to happen here. Mass turmoil. In the process now, what Israel is going through all of this, are the other nations going to suffer? Absolutely. But everything has to be done and looked at in what we call context. The killings that we see with the police officers, with our people and stuff like that, listen, that's just the tip of the iceberg. The very, very tip of the iceberg. But again, we will let the scriptures talk, and we're going to finish, because I want to make sure I get this all in. Revelations being, what's it now? 11? Okay, let me just get that. The one that I was looking for, that it escapes me, who should separate us from the love of the Father? Would it be hunger, thirst, nakedness, death, all those things there? Because those are actually the 4 plagues that are actually coming upon the nation of Yashra'al. And so one of those things, as it is listed, is going to be our downfall. Losing your jobs, the hunger, death, and the nakedness. Meaning you're not going to be able to provide for yourselves. One of those 4 things is going to separate a lot of us from the Father.
Romans 8:35.
Romans 8:35, Moray?
38 and 39.
Okay, read that for me, please.
For I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor Melachim, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of Elohim, which is in Yahushua our Savior.
Hallelujah. Mishpachah. A lot of us are not going to make it, not because we're not loving the Father, but a lot of us are just going to die. I mean, if I just kept it straight, it's not going to be, I mean, this whole Christian theology is that we just want to skate and everything is going to be okay. It's not scripture. If Paul, Jeremiah, Isaiah, Ezekiel, all these guys put their lives on the line for Torah, what do you think the Father's going to be asking you to do? You're going to have to put your life on the line for this. And the reason why is because the Father put us in a position at the very first where we didn't have to worry about all these things here. This is the reason why Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, is very, very important. Because I set before you this day life and death. I'm asking you to choose life so that things might go well with you. But being that we collectively did not choose life, these are now the consequences. If the Father had to send his Son to be that atoning sacrifice to the nation of Yashra'al, and he had to die, What is it that you think you might have to give up? Mother, brother, father, sister, children, wives, ishas. There's going to be division. Yeah, I mean, it is. This walk is not. Yes, Amore?
Get Romans 8:35, Mark.
Romans 8:35.
Not that Brother Select, he's right, but 35 goes into a little more of what you're hitting at about Jacob's trouble and all.
Romans 8:35.
Oh, I can read it.
You know, this is it. Yeah, this was it here. This is the one, Maury. Hallelujah. Okay, who, which is the question, who now? Who shall separate us from the love of Yahusha HaMashiach? Shall the tribulation that's going to come, is that going to separate us? Because, see, we all talk a good talk now. We talk a real good talk. But when the rubber meets the road, all right? I've been in this thing for 25 years. I've been in a whole lot of talk, all right? So I want to see now whether or not Kasadaba is going to actually do what he's saying now or what he's been teaching now for the last 25 years. Zakane, Korah, you've been in this world for a very long time. Moreh, Shalak, Shammai, we're about to come up to crunch time. It's going to really, really get serious. Real serious. So again, who shall separate us from the love of Elohim? Shall tribulation, distress, persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or sword? You know what? I haven't eaten in a week. You know what? There is a camp. You travel about 2 or 3 miles down there, make a left. That's where the whole congregation of Yashra'al is at. Listen, I'm ready to eat. I'll sell you out just as clear as today's Wednesday. I'll sell you out. I need that beef patty, man. I haven't eaten in a long time now. And this is actually what happened. When we begin to look at the siege in 70 AD, was it 70? Was it the siege under with the Romans, or was it the one under the Babylonians, where there was Israelites now who snuck out of the camp, and showed the enemy now how to get inside of the camp, and this is how a lot of us was overthrown. Hungry. Because we used to eat 3 or 4 times a day. Can we now get to the point where we say, listen, you know what? Us here now, the congregation of Yashra'al, we were together. We're going to now have to ration out the food. We could only eat once a day. Everybody now only gets, let's say, a liter of water. We're going to have to make this stuff last until we're able to figure out now what the next move is going to be. Not everybody's going to be able to do that. Not going to be able to do that. This is how serious this is getting. Let's keep on because I really want to finish this. Revelations, the 11th chapter, verses 1 through 3. This is John the Revelator.
Revelation, the 11th chapter, starting at verse 1. And there was given me a reed like unto a rod. And the Malachim stood saying, Rise and measure the temple of Yahuah the Elohim, and the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple, leave out and measure it not. For it is given unto the Gentiles, and to the set apart city shall they tread underfoot 42 months.
How long is 42 months?
1,260 days.
You're still going around the same thing. Now watch this. I found this real interesting. Just interesting. The temple without. All right? The temple that's without. What is now on the Temple Mount in Israel today?
It says the Dome of the Rock.
Yeah, Dome of the Rock, that's what they said.
The Dome of the Rock. And what is the Dome of the Rock?
A Muslim temple? It is a Muslim temple.
And we got to talk about that. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. troubles. Jacob's trouble, Jacob's trouble. Let me just put a clue here. Arabs. Okay, Maury, finish up for me, please.
And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days.
Right, so he just,
Clothed in sackcloth.
hallelujah. So he said 42 months, and he's also said 1,260 days, which is all the same thing. And so how long is this going to be?
1,260 days.
Okay, because I think that we're pretty much bringing up all the scriptures to prove exactly that. Revelation, the 12th chapter, Shabbat, please, verses 7. Revelation, the 12th, yeah. 7 to 17.
Ready?
Yes.
Revelation chapter 12, verse 7 through 17.
Let's see. Verse 5. Excuse me.
Start at verse 5?
No, we read that, right?
No,
Verse 7.
we didn't read 7.
We were 7. Okay, 7.
And there was war in heaven. Michael and his Malachim fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against his Malachim, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil and Shaitan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his Malachim were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now is come salvation, and strength, and the kingdom of our Elohim, and the power of his Mashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our Elohim day and night.
So who's accusing who?
Shaitan is accusing
Who?
Yashra'al.
Okay, read on.
And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto the death.
So again, our lives here is going to be on the line here. Every last one of our lives is going to be on the line. So please take it serious. Jeremiah the 30th chapter, verse 7 is going to be extremely important to both man and woman of the nation of Yashra'al. Guarantee you according to scripture. Read on.
Therefore, rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, and to her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Elohim, and have the testimony of Yahusha, Mashiach.
Hallelujah. So the adversary is coming against who?
The woman's seed, Yashra'al.
Exactly. Verse 17 is kind of particular here. It's getting real particular. And the dragon was enraged against the woman, and he went to make war upon the residue of her seed, who kept the commandments of Elohim. Who kept the commandments. Those who the adversary has, those who are done, they're done.
Yeah.
It's you. Because you're causing the problem. You're the one who's walking in Torah, not following the pagan days, eating as kosher as we can in these last days. You're not like the norm. You're like, if left unattended, you will spread like wildfire. So the adversary's job now is to destroy you, because he don't want you now to get in contact with other folks now and teach them Torah. So the adversary now is coming against those who keep the Torah. You're very dangerous. Very dangerous. And rest assured, we're being watched. We are definitely being watched. If you watch a lot of the Israeli news, They know exactly what's going on, and they're very aware of the awakening of the Hebrew Israelites here in America. And they just, somebody sent me a video where they was even talking about, even in Russia, how influential we're becoming even over there. So, Moray, Revelation the 13th chapter, verses 1 through 5, please.
Revelation 13, beginning at the first verse. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months.
Hallelujah. So anybody know now, it says, and one of his heads was wounded as it were to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And the earth wondered after the beast of prey. Anybody know who that might be in verse 3? You know what's interesting? I know a lot of people said that. Yeah, they said that just for me to get. I ain't gonna go there. But no, but we're talking about the reviving actually of the Greco-Roman Empire, because they're all like one in one. You know, so after the Greeks came the Romans, but the Romans are an extension of the Greeks, and so that's where we're going with that there. Maury, you had something?
Oh, I was thinking about the question you asked, if we knew who that the wounded was.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
wounded, wouldn't that be the Antichrist?
Huh?
Wouldn't that be the Antichrist?
Everything will be centered around those 4 metals there. Everything is centered around those 4 metals in the 1,260 days. And so what we want to share here now is that the Greco-Roman Empire, it did die, because it talked about in the first book of Maccabees, where it talks about Alexander the Greek, Alexander the Freak, whatever you want to call him, and stuff like that. So when he became, when the adversary gave him his power and his authority, they said evils began to multiply upon the face of the earth like never. It just took off. But what happened now is that we're going to talk about this a little bit later within the next scriptures, is that the Greeks did die, but again, when you look at the Greeks and the Romans, they're like daughters, they're sisters here. And so, the resurrection, they came back through the Romans. So this is the reason why we say the Greco-Roman Empire, because they're almost like one of the same.
Because
Yes.
wasn't one of Alexander's generals one of the ones that separated and became king of the Romans?
Yeah, it talks about,
Since Daniel 8:8.
yeah. You know what? Let me finish this here,
Yeah,
okay? Because Daniel, he explains a lot of this here. And he talks about Alexander the Greek. So when Daniel got this vision here, okay, Daniel was asked, did he know what these visions meant? And he didn't know what these visions meant. So it was explained to him. But these beasts now were actually representing the Babylonians, the Medo-Persian Empire, the Greeks, and the Romans, and the Greco-Roman Empire. But we want to talk about the Temple Mount, what is actually now on the Temple Mount, and we need to find out who's going to be giving Yashra'al these problems. So again, who will be giving Jacob trouble during the 42 months, 3.5 years, 1,260 days? The book of Psalms. Oh, okay. Okay, we're going to have to, let's speed this up here. The book of Psalms. The book of Psalms is 2nd chapter. Book of Psalms. The 2nd chapter. Want the Greek Septuagint. Okay, this is a question. Why do the heathen rage? And the people imagine a vain thing. So we have to understand now who are these heathens that are raging and they're imagining a vain thing. It says the kings, which is plural, of the earth, set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against Yahuah and against his anointed. Who is the anointed? This is a twofold question.
Yashra'al.
And first and foremost is who?
Mashiyach.
Yep, Yahusha. So we have the anointed is Yahusha, and we have now Yashra'al. Because this is a marriage, everything